Yeah, not a great morning to wake up in the UK seeing what's transpired.
There was no doubt that he was bowling well. We've been seeing him in the nets doing that, and that's why we knew that he was ready to fire here.
They're just simply not good enough, and that's not a knock on them, that is just the reality.
He was one of, we'd have to say, two players who actually stood up today. Day two of the third Ashes Test match. This was supposed to be the day. It was supposed to be the day that England showed the fight. They showed that dog that Captain Ben Stokes has been calling for coming into this Test match and fought their way back into this Ashes series. Instead, they're 8 for 213, Australia posting 371, England still trailing by 153, and any hope that they had of keeping this Ashes series alive, all but slipping away. Sam Jordan from 9 News, joined by Tom Decent from the Sydney Morning Herald. Tom, there were such high hopes for England. Their supporters were streaming in this morning, hoping that this was going to be the day that they could fight their way into the series. Not the case.
Yeah, not a great morning to wake up in the UK seeing what's transpired. Yeah, the one day of this series that they needed to hang on and show some fight and really post a lead, and they're not going to do that. So many different stories to talk about. DRS, obviously. Joe Root again missing out. Ben Stokes, a bit of a vigil there, very un-Bazball-like. I'm sure we'll go into it, but very, very, very disappointing day for England on a very hot day for Australia as well.
Yeah, we will go into it, but we're going to start, well, about 40 runs into England's innings as well. It all looked like it was going so well for them. Ben Duckett, Zach Crawley were keeping the scoring moving, but they actually were showing some restraint too. There was a cheer every time Ben Duckett left the delivery, which I found pretty amusing. And then it all went wrong. Pat Cummins claiming that first wicket, Nathan Lyon taking the next two, Cummins again striking with the fourth too. Let's start with Pat Cummins. There was no doubt that he was bowling well. We've been seeing him in the nets doing that, and that's why we knew that he was ready to fire here. He certainly did that today.
100%. We've been hearing from Pat over the last few weeks and months that he's been feeling good and ready to go, and it just shows that rehabilitation has been spot on. I think basically 7 weeks to the day now since he started having to bowl in Sydney, and he's back firing and back at his best. He was going at 6 and over to begin with, a little bit of concerns around that as Crawley and Duckett took it to him, but gets the wicket, a couple more big ones. Yeah, incredibly well supported there by Nathan Lyon too. And look, Nathan Lyon in his press conference spoke about the oppressive heat there being on par with India as well. So that's a massive, sign as to how difficult it was out there. A bit hard for us to comment in the press box in the aircon, but yeah, tough going out there.
People wanted to see fight. I know we keep talking about it and keep, tongue-in-cheek saying, showing that dog, but for at least the first hour of play this morning, that's what England was showing. Mitchell Starc, he got the scoring moving this morning, 5 straight boundaries to kick off play, but then England did strike with those 2 wickets. Jofra Archer finishing with a 5-for. Super impressive. In fact, why don't we stop there? Jofra Archer, he did show that fight. I feel like he's been pretty unfairly targeted, particularly after that second Ashes test in Brisbane, but he was one of, you would have to say, 2 players who actually stood up today.
Yeah, his first 7 balls he didn't though. I mean, he went for 12 runs off those 7 balls, got the wicket finally, bowled one at the stumps, and Ben Stokes came over and said, "What are you doing, mate? Like, any danger of you bowling to your field?"
Great moment.
Yeah, it was. Like, he's so up and down, and that's why he's a frustrating guy, I would imagine, to try and captain when you need the best out of him. And it took a little bit of a snap there to get back in the groove. Takes that wicket to Starc and rolls through Australia and get a 5-wicket haul. So, yeah, shame he wasn't bowling to Steve Smith this test, given he's out, but yeah, the ups and downs of Jofra Archer, and I mean, I was one point looking like he was going to have to come out and bowl again today, so I think he'd be pretty happy for that and get a good night's sleep on the pillow tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Nathan Lyon, he was left out of the second Ashes Test match. We knew how much that did frustrate him. He made that very clear, and he didn't hide it throughout the build-up here in Adelaide as well. He's only bowled 2 overs in this series to this point. He only needed 1 over to take 2 wickets. That was quite the return.
Brilliant. He's been sitting on 5-6-2 for a very long time. He was, in Grenada, I think was his last test wicket, and obviously didn't play the test in Kingston and then obviously the test in Brisbane as well. And it's funny, these little things. I interviewed him in Barbados. I think he needed 15 or 10 wickets before, and he knew exactly how many he needed to equal McGrath. So, for a guy who says he plays for the team, and he obviously does, but these are genuine milestones that he will be really, really special for him. So, yeah, coupling the over, and just in front of his home crowd too, he spoke about the fairy tale of what that would bring, and it certainly was. Got the ball rolling, England 3 for 40 odd. I thought he bowled really well outside of that. Very unlucky to not get more wickets there. But well supported as well, and just like critical for Australia to have a really, really decent frontline spinner there too when it's going to be hot. And Will Jacks just doesn't provide that at the moment. And yeah, important signs as well for that first innings pitch, which is obviously turning a little bit more, and I think it'll be an absolute Bunsen burner in the 4th innings.
And with that run of play through the middle, it all felt like it should for Australia. The bowling attack once again hunting like a pack as well. This is why Australia has had so much success over the years, is that once you get through the first two strike weapons, you're not going to get away from it. Even Cameron Green chipping in with an important wicket as well. He bowled quite well today.
Absolutely, yeah. Obviously, no runs with the bat, goes off with a finger or a hand injury. We're not sure what's going on there, and then swings back around and nicks off Harry Brook. Very, very impressive there as well. And I mean, he was super, super pumped about that as well, and just adds that point of difference as well. Coming from a different height is a different question that they pose. So Mitchell Starc goes wicketless, but again, huge effort from him. He's had a massive series, and it's just great that, as Nathan Lyon said in his press conference, the depth of Australian cricket. Pat Cummins is the headline with 3 wickets as well, but Scott Boland as well, a couple of poles. I think he had 2 for 1 across a 5-over period there in 40-degree heat as well, really screwing them down. And Alex Carey, exceptional work coming up to the stumps there as well, putting a little bit of pressure on. That little catch there doesn't go to him if he's not up to the stumps as well. And you could argue the next wicket, which he bowled, who did he bowl? Can't remember. It's all a bit of a blur.
Cast. Boland bowls Cast.
That probably doesn't happen if Scott, Alex Carey's not up the stumps. So things all went to plan beautifully.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it left England, well, admittedly in all sorts as well. So much chat. I've slipped the bird into already saying that they haven't shown fight, but the reality is that they seem incapable of doing it here in Australia over the consistency required to win Test matches.
They're just not good enough. I mean, Bretto's written about this as well extensively today, that, yeah, like for all the teams and methods they want to play, they're just simply not good enough. And that's not a knock on them, that is just the reality. It is so hard to win matches out here. I found their approach really interesting today. For all the bravado of Bazball and going at 6s and 5s, we saw 3 and over today. We saw Ben Stokes going at 29 strike rate. A guy who picks and chooses when he goes at that rate. And clearly, as Marcus Joscothic, their assistant coach, said, they sort of pick and choose their moments and understand and read the situations a bit better. But like, they're on the canvas at the moment, massively. I thought they could have attacked the game more and they didn't, but Australia's bowlers were just so relentless. And how many times have we said that over the past 10 years with those guys in that quartet?
It felt like the death knell for Bazball today, and I don't necessarily mean in terms of the reviews that are no doubt coming after this series is finished, but England moved away from that aggressive approach and they weren't able to execute it. It was one of, if not the slowest 50 that Ben Stokes has made in Test cricket as well, which did show that change in perspective. And he and Jofra Archer, who was, again, very impressive with the bat, he certainly showed fight this afternoon. Feels like the last line of defence before this Test match well and truly gets away.
That pitch will be beautiful to bat on. There's guys in that team who know they probably missed out and should have gone on with a bigger score as well. They will be incredibly hungry to bat all day tomorrow and put the absolute foot down as well and set England a target as well. Ben Stokes did bat very well. Let's not take that away from him as well. Clearly extremely hot, dealing with cramps, all the rest, running out of partners. Very much frustrated with the guys who sort of can't go along with him as well. I would like to see him bat at 3 and bat higher in that order. He's got such a good technique and ability to withstand pressure. More than Ollie Pope, and that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, tough old day.
Yeah, tough old day if you're English. Great day if you're Australian as well. Tom, what do you want to see tomorrow from the Aussies when they undoubtedly get out there and start the 3rd innings of this Test match too? I guess we're not concerned about time. There's plenty of time left in this Test match, but it's a big opportunity for some of the players. We mentioned Cameron Green earlier, to try and make runs to get Australia on top, put the nail in.
Yeah, I don't think Australia will need to go at a decent pace, given the way the pitch is as well, and they'll know that wearing England down with a short turnaround into Boxing Day as well will also be a primary goal as well. So I think they would love to bat the day and get a huge lead. Jake Weatherald set up perfectly. He's played so much cricket here in South Australia. I think he would be absolutely dining out on a big score tomorrow. And Josh Inglis as well, who's made a 20 and a 30. He's just sort of hasn't been there as well. A little bit of a shoulder problem as well. Would love to solidify his spot in that team. And then, yeah, fascinating to see what happens with Uzi Khawaja too. Obviously, it looks like he'll probably come in at 4 again and go from there. But yeah, there'll be guys wanting to fill their boots massively. But they need to get those last 2 wickets as well. Stokes, as we know, has that next gear, and I think if Archie gets out, he might just throw the kitchen sink at it. So Australia need to be wary that they don't get close to sort of that 100-run behind mark.
He only averages something like 29 in Australia, Ben Stokes. We know what he's capable of. He's created plenty of miracles for England cricket over the years. He's going to need to produce his biggest miracle yet, because otherwise the Ashes will be gone. Australia closing in on a 3-0 series lead. We'll see what unfolds when we return tomorrow with our review of Day 3 of this 3rd Ashes Test match.